nosotros en este su programa Café con Leche, la voz de las latinas en América. Estamos transmitiendo desde el estudio de Café con Leche en Coursey, California, y tenemos el día de hoy el placer de presentar a ustedes a uno de los candidatos para Antelope Valley Union High School District por el área número 1, el señor Charles Hughes. Good afternoon, how are you? Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you very much for having me.
Do you know, I know that you even didn't know you don't have to be here, and this is why we appreciate so much your effort to meet the Latino community, to hear about the needs of the Latino community, and we appreciate that a lot. Well, let's start and tell us a little bit about yourself, please. Who are you?
Well, my name is Charles Hughes, as you stated. I am running for the Antelope Valley High School board for area number 1. Area number 1 is basically kind of like Quartz Hill all the way down to pushed out to Gorman. It's Antelope. It's in the Quartz Hill area, the Antelope Acres area. We go out to Lake Hughes. We go all the way out to Gorman, Elizabeth Lake, all the areas there. Lancaster, West. So it's a pretty large area that I'm attempting to represent.
Bueno, let's make a little pause in some way that I can translate. Dice, bueno, como ya lo dijiste, mi nombre es Carlos Hughes. Yo estoy corriendo para representar al Antelope Valley Union High School, al distrito escolar de preparatorias del Valle del Antílope, para ser representante de la mesa directiva en el área número 1, que va desde Quartz Hill hasta el área de Gorman. Incluye Antelope Acres, Lake Hughes, and la parte west de Lancaster. Okay, you can continue now, please.
Okay, I'm a father. I'm a husband of 33 years. I'm a retired correctional lieutenant from the California Department of Corrections, and I'm a U.S. Navy veteran.
Él es padre, ha estado casado por 33 años y está retirado de subteniente de correccional, y también fue veterano de la naval de los Estados Unidos.
My wife, Angie, who serves as the vice president of the Antelope Valley Fair Board Association, and I've raised 5 children, 1 son, 4 daughters in the Antelope Valley, and all graduates of Quartz Hill High School.
Very good. Dice mi esposa Angie, que es la vicepresidenta del Antelope Valley Fair Association, de la mesa directiva, y yo tuvimos 5 hijos, un hijo y 4 hijas, y todas son graduadas de la escuela de Quartz Hill, de la escuela preparatoria Quartz Hill.
Both my wife and I both have bachelor's degrees.
Él y su esposa obtuvieron títulos universitarios.
Our academic success led to instilling the value and importance of education to our children.
Nuestros éxitos académicos hicieron que pusiéramos estos valores y que vieran la importancia en toda la educación de sus hijos.
They've all continued in higher education, armed services, or both, and have successful careers, most of them that graduated.
Congratulations, dice. Ellos han continuado por una educación superior, están participando en los servicios de la Armada, o los dos participando con la educación superior y también en el servicio militar, y ya tienen exitosas carreras.
My son Christopher has a bachelor's degree, and he's a highway patrol officer currently.
Su hijo recibió un grado universitario y actualmente trabaja como oficial de California Highway Patrol.
My daughter Lauren attended the United States Military Academy at West Point and served in the U.S. Army for 9 years. She's recently transitioned out of the Army and is attending law school currently.
Su hija Lauren, ella asistió a la Academia Militar de los Estados Unidos en West Point, una de las academias más prestigiadas, y sirvió como oficial de la Armada por 9 años. Ella recientemente ha hecho una transición de su carrera de la Armada para ir a la escuela de abogados.
My daughter Ashley has a master's degree, and she is a U.S. Army officer, a reservist, and a nurse practitioner.
Su hija Ashley tiene una maestría y también sirve como oficial de reserva de la Armada de los Estados Unidos y también practica la enfermería.
My daughter Kristen attends Vanderbilt University and will obtain a master's degree and become a nurse practitioner this year, actually this next year. She just passed her registered nurse test and became a licensed registered nurse as of yesterday.
Congratulations. Bueno, dice mi hija Kristen, ella atiende a la Universidad de Vanderbilt y va a obtener una maestría y se va a volver el próximo año una enfermera ya con licencia. Ella acaba de pasar su examen como enfermera registrada y está registrada ya hasta el día de ayer. Bueno, pues esto. Ok.
The youngest, my daughter Kelly, attends Boise State University and will graduate this year with a bachelor's degree and plans to pursue her dream and becoming a veterinarian.
Su hija Kelly, que es la más pequeña, asiste a la Universidad Boise del estado y se va a graduar este año con una licenciatura y tiene planes para seguir su carrera, para seguir su sueño de convertirse en una veterinaria.
As students, my children were involved in the community. Lauren and Kristen both served as the ASD president at Quartz Hill High School.
Dice, como estudiantes, mis hijas o hijos estuvieron involucrados en la comunidad. Lauren y Kristen, ambas sirvieron en la asociación de estudiantes de la escuela de Quartz Hill, de la escuela preparatoria de Quartz Hill.
And my daughter Kristen actually served as the student representative on the Antelope Valley Union High School District Board.
Y dice, mi hija Christine también sirvió como representante en la mesa directiva del Antelope Valley Union High School District. Do you know, that sounds really good. Let me tell you, congratulations for so successful children. Do you know, that tells me that we have a good school system in the high school because all of them are graduated locally and all of them are successful. I know that the combination of a good education and good parents makes the difference. Is that right?
Yep. Yes, ma'am, it does.
Well, I'm going to ask you a little question now. Why do you want to be a board member? What is your motivation?
Well, I just seen that, I was very successful. My kids were very successful, and our family was very successful in this area. I retired 3.5 or almost 3 years ago, and I was asked to come on the school board by the local representatives and said, they basically believed in me and said, I think you could make a difference. So that's why I'm running.
Bueno, le digo que lo que escuchamos de toda su familia, de todos sus hijos e hijas, es de una historia exitosa donde una buena educación en la escuela preparatoria de Quartz Hill y la combinación de la atención y el involucramiento de los padres hacen hijos exitosos. Le digo que cuál es su deseo de ahora ser parte de la mesa directiva del distrito escolar de preparatorias. Dice, porque fui invitado por miembros de la comunidad que creen que yo puedo aportar como miembro de la mesa directiva. Very good. How important is parent involvement to make students successful?
Did parent involvement?
Yes.
Parent involvement, absolutely, I believe, a necessity to be involved in our kids to assist them in their journey to become great citizens. I think parents need to be involved. And that's one of my huge priorities on my campaign is for parent involvement.
Le preguntaba él qué opina de que los padres tienen que estar involucrados en la educación de sus hijos para que puedan ser exitosos. Dice, sí, estoy absolutamente convencido que la participación de los padres es muy necesaria para que puedan crear muy buenos ciudadanos, y esa es una de mis grandes prioridades. Tell us a little bit about the demographics of the district that you are going to represent.
My demographics is a mixed demographics as we are in this outstanding valley. I know the makeup. It depends on you go west side. You have a lot of firefighters, teachers, engineers. I know that, and a lot of farmers, kind of like myself out here.
Do you know for ethnical groups, like how many are Hispanic or how big is the Hispanic community in your district?
I'm not sure how large our Hispanic
How large?
population is in our district. I would say it's more populous in Central Palmdale, East Palmdale, but I can tell you we have a lot of Hispanics, we have Asians, we have African Americans, we have whites. You have really diverse. I believe our district is very diverse.
Ok, do you know I asked you that? Estaba yo preguntándole de la demografía del distrito que él va a representar, si hay muchos hispanos. Dice, bueno, yo tengo entendido que hay más hispanos en los otros distritos que aquí en el lado oeste, dice, porque acá pues tenemos muchos que son bomberos, que son maestros, que son policías, pero dice, y yo creo que hay más hispanos en el área central de Palm Valley y en el lado oeste. Dice, pero yo aquí tengo en este distrito hay una población bastante representativa de varios grupos, y son comunidad de la raza blanca, comunidad de la raza hispana, orientales y muchos de ellos. I ask you this because, there is a huge problem with the language barrier. Many people said, how come the immigrants, they don't learn English if they are in this country? And what I see is that they work in places in which only Hispanic employees, nobody else wants to work there. So you don't have the ability to learn from somebody else English because everybody's speaking Spanish, because it's the kind of work that only Hispanics wants to do. So there is a big challenge. And then do you know the children, if they are speaking more Spanish than English, sometimes they feel more comfortable, and we feel more comfortable speaking our own language because we speak a lot better than English. What can you do to help us to overcome that barrier in some way that parents feel welcome even though they don't understand too much of what are you saying or the board is saying?
Well, with 60-70% of our uh, school population Latino, I mean, I think that we should have some outreach programs and bring the parents in, and we have a bunch of teachers start teaching. I mean, I think we should be learning Spanish as well. I think we should be learning all language. I mean, in America, you're only speaking English. Well, there's lots of diverse communities, and I think we should be trying to speak as many languages as we can. I'm practicing my Spanish as much as I can.
Perfecto. Poquito, muy bien. Well, estamos hablando del lenguaje, del idioma, de la barrera del lenguaje, porque desafortunadamente muchos hispanos que nos dicen, ¿por qué no aprendes inglés? ¿Por qué no aprenden inglés? Y es que trabajan en ocupaciones en las que nadie más quiere trabajar. Entonces estás trabajando con puros hispanos que hablan puro español y no hay la posibilidad. Dice, bueno, yo creo que debemos de influir en tener más clases, más acceso a que las personas puedan aprender inglés, pero también nosotros tenemos que aprender otros idiomas, porque dice, yo estoy ya practicando un poquito de español, pero deberíamos de hablar más de un idioma todos. Esto es importante.
In addition, I've been at some of the high school boards, and one of the things that I'm shocked at is we don't have an interpreter there in case a Latino wants to come and speak Spanish. We don't have anybody there to interpret, and I think that is something we will definitely change when I get on that high school board.
Bueno, dice, lo que también he notado es que en las juntas de la mesa directiva, pues no hay, cuando se tienen, no hay una persona que traduzca al español en caso de que alguien llegara a esta junta. Entonces, por eso, dice, esas serán una de las cosas en las que en las quiero influir para que haya un representante latino. There is another problem more that many people don't see. Sometimes you don't see any Latino participating in any kind of event or meeting or etc., because most of them work down the hill. So when they come back, they come exhausted. They don't want to hear anything but to get ready for the next day that is the same thing. Go prepare for the children, take the children to school, go to work, drive for hours, come back for hours. So it's like a you maybe you should, but you don't have the desire to do anything else but continue with to be ready for the following day and doing the same and the same and the same. And you don't want to go to meetings in which you talk about everything. So if you have an issue, you want the response to that issue, only to that issue, because there are so many important things, but we have to do it little by little. I know that it's a big challenge because many representatives of organizations have told me, no, Latinos are not interested in the meetings. They don't come. We organize them on Saturday. And I say, yeah, but think about, put yourself in their shoes and think what meaning driving hours to go to work and coming back so absolutely tired. And then you cannot, it's very difficult, we have to consider that because you will see that not many parents go to meetings. This is why Café con Leche came, because I don't know if you know, but at the Antelope Valley Union High School District, since the inception of my radio program, they use the program to give the information over there. Because if you are driving to work, you just push the button of the radio and at least you can hear, you can call to complain or ask questions. Sometimes it's difficult because you cannot drive and have the telephone at the same time, but at least you can hear a little bit of what's going on at schools, and then you can have some orientation.
Well, one thing that I plan to do when I'm on the board is to develop a parent representative on the board, similar to the student representative. No one's ever done this. I believe a parent need to have a say. We need to have a representative on that board that will be able to speak for the parents. Of course, it's a non-elected, non-voting position similar to the student assistant, but just a prime example, last night, the assistant on the board from the student representative did an outstanding job explaining why kids are not coming to school and some of the reasons that the board needs to look at. And he did an outstanding job. And that's great with the students. But where's the parents? I'm tired of watching where parents are being dismissed, and that's not appropriate. We need a parent's voice on that board. And I plan to put the first parent on that board to do exactly that.
Well, this is an excellent idea. Está hablando, le digo que desafortunadamente los padres no participan mucho en las juntas de la mesa directiva porque trabajan allá, tienen que manejar horas para llegar a su trabajo, regresar, prepararse y no es fácil. Ellos no quieren saber todo la junta, no tienen la energía para recibir toda la información de la junta, quieren ayuda a un problema específico y que cómo le podríamos hacer. Y le estaba yo comentando de que Café con Leche surgió con esa idea de traer a la escuela a la radio para que cuando van manejando a trabajar puedan escuchar lo que pasa. Así es que dice que él tiene la idea de traer a un padre que represente también a los padres. Tenemos un estudiante que el día de ayer en la junta hizo un papel extraordinario explicando la situación que se estaba discutiendo desde el punto de vista de los estudiantes. Si yo quiero hacer eso, dice, claro, va a ser una posición que no tiene voto, pero que podemos escuchar la voz de un padre. Si yo pienso traer a alguien ahí. Does the parent is going to be elected for all the parents, or how do you plan to select who is going to be to occupy that position? Because we are interested in somebody that really knows the culture, the language, and that can express whatever I am telling you, because not everybody knows this about Hispanics.
Well, I think one of the things that I'm doing, let me diverge for a second, and then I'll answer that question, is I partnered up with two outstanding candidates in Area 4 and 5. You have Carla Corona, who's a college professor, just a brilliant woman, Latina, and Miguel Sanchez in Area 5, a Latino. Just a hardworking journeyman, electrician, coach. I am going to partner up with these individuals actually we need to get that representation on the board. So I'm campaigning for myself. I'm campaigning for them. I think it's very important to actually have that representation on the board, and I'm so proud that I'm part of that. That they let me hang around with them. I just think it's going to be an outstanding trio. I believe we're going to do great things once we're elected.
Well, I hope that you can help me to get an interview with them because I also invite them, but they haven't called me and I didn't take the information of them.
Oh, I'll ask.
Hoy estoy platicando cómo iba a ser la decisión para elegir a un padre que represente pues a los padres hispanos que somos tantos, que son tantos, y le digo y que entienda la problemática y la cultura, dice. Y él dice, bueno, es por eso que me estoy aliando a dos hispanos que están también, son miembros son candidatos también para ocupar un lugar en la mesa directiva y se llama Carla Corona y Miguel Sánchez, son unas personas hispanas que conocen la cultura y que vamos a hacer un gran equipo para salir adelante. Okay, there is some discussion about the presence of the sheriff, the deputies of the sheriff department in campus. What is your opinion about that? Do the sheriffs have to be in campus or not?
Well, I think the first thing that you have to recognize is if there's ever an active shooter situation, you want an armed, trained professional as a deputy sheriff in that area as soon as possible. So I support law enforcement within the district. I think that I think they are already trained to handle a lot of situations. But I think it's unique for them to be inside the school district, and they've been doing a pretty good job for a long time. I just think additional training. I know as a correctional lieutenant in my system, I train policies, train procedures. We trained in special areas, and I believe that the more training that we can give the deputies that work within our unit or in our system, the better. I think out on the street, it's one way to police, but inside the schools, you have to. There's a litany of issues that you're dealing with inside that's not dealing with out on the streets. I think at the end of the day, I think all parents would agree. You want your kids to be the safest in school. This is our precious. This is the most precious thing we have is our children. I want them to be safe. We need law enforcement on the street. We need them in our schools. I just think that they have to get some different training or some additional training and additional resources. And I think we can absolutely accommodate that. I can tell you, I'm pro law enforcement. Of course, I'm a retired law enforcement officer. We can always do better, and I think we will. I think the training is the great aspect that we can put into our school systems to make it even better. I know that some people want to cancel the contract. I've got this. Maybe I should stop and let you translate. Sorry.
Okay.
I just feel passionate.
Le estoy preguntando, le digo que hay alguna discusión acerca de la presencia de los oficiales del departamento de sheriff en las escuelas, que si deben de estar ahí o no, en su opinión. Dice, yo creo que deben de estar ahí para proteger, es necesario que los oficiales del departamento de sheriff estén ahí para proteger de alguien que venga armado a cometer un atrocinio en contra de los estudiantes o de los maestros ahí, definitivamente. Sin embargo, también creo que necesitan más entrenamiento. Y si yo, trabajando en esto de estar relacionado con las cuestiones de la policía, yo creo que deben de estar ahí, pero sin duda alguna es posible que requieran un entrenamiento dándoles clases especiales para que sepan manejar las situaciones y todos se sientan protegidos al estar en la escuela. You can continue now if you want, please.
I look at it as when there's a problem, who do you call? You call the police. Mm-hmm. And hopefully there's no problems in the school, but if it gets down to an active shooter, I think that we absolutely have to have armed, trained personnel, professional personnel in our schools. Give them the best training, give them the best tools, and have a conversation. I believe we should have a conversation with people that disagree with us, and I think that we should be able to find common ground. And I believe we will. I've done it already with some cancel the contract people that I've discussed my views with.
Perfecto. Dice, definitivamente, yo sé que mucha gente no está de acuerdo. Dice, yo estoy dispuesto a que negociemos la situación de si se requiere la policía. Dice, yo creo que la policía se requiere en todos lados. Se requiere en las calles, se requiere para resolver los problemas del que la gente tiene con el crimen. Y lo que necesitamos es un mejor entrenamiento. Now what do you think that are the abilities that you bring as a board member? What about negotiation? We saw with some of the past board members that there were totally disagreement between the groups, and we were all stuck. There was not advance in anything. In fact, even they canceled my contract. Sin me being involved at all, it was canceled my contract, and I think that they affect the parents, because then they didn't have any information, all the parents. But I saw that they didn't have the ability to negotiate. What do you have the ability to negotiate and always reach agreements? Because I don't have any doubt that there are going to be many issues in which not everybody thinks the same, and then you have to negotiate. Do you have the ability to negotiate? Do you have that kind of ability so needed in the boards, I believe?
Another thing that I haven't really explained about my background. About 3 years into my career as a correctional officer, I became the vice president of the union.
Oh.
5 years into when I had 5 years in the department, I became the president. So I basically served probably 20 some years as the union president, not only locally, but I also went up statewide as the supervisory vice president of the state for the California Correctional Peace Officers Association. I'll stop so you can translate there.
Ok, dice, me faltó comentarles algo acerca de mi carrera. Dice, fui por 4 años vicepresidente de la Unión del Departamento de Correccional. Dice, y luego fui presidente, y luego incluso escalé a la escala de nivel de estado. But you know, as a union member, you always want to win, no? More than negotiate, or no? Or I am wrong?
Actually, in the civil service unions, there's a lot of compromise to do. You have to, like I say, break ups, and you have to compromise, and you have to get along. And I can tell you, I represented rank and file correctional officers, but I did that as a sergeant. They kept electing me. I did that as a lieutenant, and I spent 16 years, my last 16 years as a lieutenant, with the rank and file out here at the prison, electing me as their president. So obviously, I believe they thought I did a good job, or they probably would have not elected me. And I've negotiated hundreds and hundreds of agreements across the table with management. I understand the art of negotiation. Everybody wants to win, but in this situation, now you're coming into where you have to find the common ground. I believe we will. I believe if I get the right team, I believe Carla and Miguel are just outstanding candidates. And I believe that we'll reach trust with the other candidates or the other city members. And I look forward to a lot of 5-0 votes. That's what I look forward to.
Very good. Estamos hablando le decía yo de los conflictos que hubo y que no permitieron que el distrito avanzara como debería por los conflictos que había entre los miembros de la mesa directiva. Le digo que cuál es su habilidad para negociar. Bueno, él fue líder del sindicato, como les dije, y ocupó varias posiciones ya, aún como miembro del área de management. Él todavía ha representado a la unión. Dice, obviamente, pues como sindicato, le digo, sí, como sindicato siempre tratas de ganar. Dice, sí, siempre tratas de ganar en todo, cualquier gente, pero se trata también de negociar y de encontrar algo en común que pueda desatorar los asuntos para que puedan avanzar. I think in this situation it's so important that you reach agreements. Otherwise, who suffer are the students, no, and all the community. And I believe that there is a huge opportunity here for students to go ahead, because we believe in the aerospace industry, and we could push everybody to work there. And you know that you say that some people doesn't want to go to college. They don't want to go to college because they don't know the kind of salaries that they pay. But if you show them, okay, you want to study this kind of career, you're going to make $90,000 or $100,000, whatever. I think it's a huge opportunity. I saw it in the benefit of the Latino community because we want to break the cycle of poverty that has come with us for so many generations that you should be surprised. You could be surprised.
Well, I think all kids are going to college, and we have to recognize that all kids are not going to college. That is why I'm partnering with the trades. Um, Kids don't even understand the opportunity to become a lineman and how much money a lineman makes or a journeyman electrician makes. These are opportunities that we have to present to our kids to give them the opportunity to choose. Maybe they don't want to go to college, but they might like the idea of being a lineman. And linemen make a lot more than police and fire and nurses. And a lot of kids don't even understand what a lineman is. And we're going to bring that to the school district. We're going to bring the trades, and we're going to enhance what they're already doing.
Bueno, very good. Estamos hablando le decía yo que yo creo que tenemos aquí en el Valle del Antílope una gran oportunidad para que los jóvenes puedan incorporarse a la industria aeroespacial que paga tan buenos salarios. Le digo, yo sé que tú dices que no muchas personas quieren ir a la universidad, pero si se les da la oportunidad y se les dice cuánto van a ganar, yo creo que todos tomarían la oportunidad, dice él. Pero también hay muchas ocupaciones que pagan muchísimo y que tenemos que informarles para que se preparen en ese tipo de actividades, porque te aseguro que hay personas que no quieren ir a la universidad y pueden tener un buen nivel de vida si se van a este tipo de carreras que ya vamos a tratar de que estén disponibles para todos los estudiantes. Then the last question, I saw you in the fair, Antelope Valley Fair Association, in the Antelope Valley Fair, and we were participating in the livestock, and then you told me how many animals you grow and all that kind of things. But you told me something. What did you see there about the participation of the Hispanics or African Americans in these kind of events?
I think one of the huge things that I want to accomplish, that I'm going to accomplish in the high school district, is bringing back the FFA, the Future Farmers of America. This gives kids the opportunity to raise animals, and it's not just about raising the animal. When you raise the animal, you learn public speaking, parliamentary procedures. You get your first checking account. You understand profit and loss. You teach them business. This is an opportunity for kids that maybe they're not really doing anything, but they want a reason to come to school. They're going to come to school to raise this animal. And at the end, as you mentioned, the livestock auction, we sold 200 and some animals, and we raised over $1 million this year for our kids. I love participating in that. I love being part of that. I love watching these kids grow. They turn into some of the most amazing kids in the world from this experience. So I want to be able to bring that as well back to the schools. I know we have some already FFA programs, but they need to be remodeled. Their facilities are not where they need to be. And I want to expand that to all the schools for these kids to have the opportunity. And one of the things that you see is you don't see a lot of Hispanic and African American kids in this. And just by culture, great farmers, great ranchers, and the grandpas are going to be all excited, I guarantee you, because they did that. And they're going to say, hey, grandson, granddaughter, they're going to jump in full fledged. I already know it. I've seen it. I think it's outstanding. And that's one of my big pushes that I want to bring back to the school is agriculture for our kids. So.
Perfecto, le decía que tuve la oportunidad de conocerlo en la feria, en el evento donde se se hace la subasta de animales, de ganado, de borregos, de chivos, de cerdos. Y le digo, ¿qué es lo que observó ahí? Porque observamos que hay casi nula participación de la comunidad hispana y la comunidad afroamericana. Dice, sí, lo que necesitamos es promover más esto que se llama los futuros granjeros de América, dice, porque yo veo que en la comunidad hispana eso es una actividad muy común y yo estoy muy seguro que los padres y los abuelos de los estudiantes que participen en este tipo de actividades se van a sentir muy orgullosos y ese es uno de sus propósitos, el promover más. Dice, se remataron más de 270 animales, lo que significó una colecta de aproximadamente $1 millón. Y si queremos más de eso, y esto suena excelente, 270 animales. Y do you know, maybe we can start to grow animals for the space? Like, how are you going to feed people who go to the space, or when we live in Mars or in the moon, something like that. I am so grateful for your interview and your time. Thank you very much for letting us know you a little bit better. And I hope I wish you well. I don't even have to wish you anything because you are already there. And just do your best, please, and for the benefit of the. Do you know? I believe that we live here in the Antelope Valley. In the aerospace industry, we are going to have the train from San Diego to San Francisco, the train to Las Vegas, the international airport. We have such a huge opportunity, and if we work everyone in the same direction, if we are not fighting, but we are negotiating and reaching agreements, we can do great for everybody. And we are a lot of Latinos. If we don't help that the people advancing the same at the same rhythm, we are going to go everybody down. Don't you think? I think we have a huge opportunity to become the number one. Forget it about LA. We are going to replace them.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Antelope Valley is so diverse. I think we have outstanding people. We just have to educate our kids, make them the best, bring our kids back here, let them make money, let them get jobs where they can pay and have a mortgage paying job to where they stay in here. And grandmas and grandpas are happy because their grandkids are here. And it's a great community. I mean, we grew up here. My kids grew up here. They're coming back here. They're serving their countries, serving the state, and they're coming back in this area, and I'm very proud of that.
Perfecto. Bueno, estamos hablando de cómo las oportunidades se dan aquí en el Valle del Antílope porque vivimos en un área aeroespacial donde le digo, vamos a tener el tren que viene desde San Diego hasta San Francisco, el tren a Las Vegas, el aeropuerto internacional. Este va a ser un gran lugar y tenemos que asegurarnos que todos trabajamos y marchamos en la misma dirección para que podamos tener un Valle del Antílope que pronto reemplace a la ciudad de Los Ángeles y nos convirtamos en el centro. Dice, yo estoy absolutamente de acuerdo, tenemos muchas oportunidades, tenemos que trabajar todos juntos para salir adelante. Well, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure. I hope to see you soon.
Thank you.